Hi, I'm Ben from Acupuncture West London, and welcome to part 2 of my video series on building the immune system. So last time we looked at some of the concepts behind the creation and maintenance of life from a Chinese medicine perspective. Today we're going to look more specifically at how you can put these concepts into practice from the comfort of your own home. So if we discuss the immune system from a Western medicine perspective, we can divide it into two categories. Firstly, we have innate immunity, and secondly, we have acquired immunity. Now, the innate immune system is our immune system that we're born with. It's our constitutional strength. And then acquired immunity refers to our immune system as we build it up over our lifetime. Now, from a Chinese medicine perspective, like we discussed in the last video, we're most concerned with prenatal qi and postnatal qi. So prenatal qi, or essence or jing, is rooted in the kidneys being the root of yin and yang within our body. Now, we're talking about our innate strength, our constitution. It's what we're born with. It's what our parents gave us. It's the root of who we are. We cannot change this, but we can support it with postnatal qi. Now, postnatal qi refers to qi that we can build or we can create after our birth. So we're talking about the air that we breathe, so the lungs, and we're talking about the food that we eat and the fluids that we drink. So we're talking about the stomach and the spleen, the reflection of heaven within man, which is the earth element. We're talking about the root of qi, blood and fluids. So with this in mind, Western medicine and Chinese medicine would seem to agree that gut health is important for our immune systems generally. Now, in relation to the immune system specifically, prenatal qi and postnatal qi give rise to what is called yin qi and wei qi. Yin qi is also known as nourishing qi. It is considered to be yin. It is the qi that travels in the vessels with the blood. Then we have wei qi, also known as defensive qi, which is considered to be yang. This qi does not travel in the channels. It travels in the space between the skin and the muscles. Now, this specifically is what protects us from pathogens which may be looking to enter from the outside. And it is comparable within Western medicine to our immune system. Now, in relation to the immune system specifically, wei qi is rooted in the kidneys. It is then stored and released by the liver and then diffused and dispersed by the lungs. So you could say that the kidneys, the liver and the lungs are important for the creation and the distribution of wei qi around the body. So let's look at our first acupressure point called Spleen 6 or San Yin Jiao. San Yin Jiao translating to 3 yin crossing. So Spleen 6 is a point on the lower leg that is considered to be a meeting point for the 3 yin channels of the leg, those being the kidney, the liver and the spleen. Now, we've already discussed how the kidney, the liver and the lung are important for the production and the distribution of wei qi within the body. So Spleen 6 is a point that is a meeting point of the kidney and the liver, but also of the spleen channel, which we've discussed is the root of postnatal qi. It's interesting to look at the spleen, particularly at the levels of earth and man in relation to treatment. At the level of man, the spleen is considered to be the mother of the lung in 5-element acupuncture, and is therefore a great point for directly tonifying the lung. On the level of earth, the spleen is considered to be the mother of the heart, and this is why it's such a great point for treating anxiety. Also, the spleen channel runs up the inside of the leg and along the front of the abdomen before traversing the diaphragm and connecting with the lungs to where it then terminates at the side of the rib cage here. So you can see that it would have a very powerful effect on the lungs. So how do we find Spleen 6? So if we come to the inside of the leg here, where the spleen channel runs up the inside of the leg, like so. Spleen 6 is located 3 cun above the tip of the medial malleolus, or the highest point of the ankle bone here. So how we would measure that is by using the width of your own 4 fingers, and then if I put my little finger half on and half off the bone here, the highest point of the bone, then I can run my finger down the leg and it should just drop into a depression just there at that measurement. Now make sure that where the tibia bone runs down here, you'll feel the edge of the tibia bone. The point, spleen 6, we're looking for is just behind that. So if you run your finger down, it'll fall into the point. And what you want to do is massage this point in circular motions on both sides. So let's look at our next point, stomach 36, also known as Dusan Li or leg 3 miles. So firstly, in relation to the stomach more generally, we already know that the stomach is the root of postnatal qi along with the spleen. And because it receives all our postnatal qi, our food and our fluids directly, it is said to control receiving. It's also said to control the rotting and ripening of food and the transportation of food essences. Now also, as the origin of fluids, or the sea of liquids and cereals, and the fact that it is in control of descending qi, it is said to have a very strong relationship with the kidneys, which is why it's a great point for tonifying the kidneys. So stomach 36 is known as a He point, which means that it has a direct relationship on the stomach fu, or the stomach organ. It is an earth point, or known as a horary point. So on the level of man in 5-element acupuncture, it is a great point for tonifying the stomach, but also the colon, because it is the mother of the colon channel. It is in a Biao Li, or a yin-yang, internal-external relationship with the spleen. On the level of earth, the stomach channel is the mother of the spleen, again, so it has a very strong relationship on the spleen, and therefore on the building of postnatal qi, blood and fluids. Okay, so how do we find stomach 36? Well, stomach 36 is located 3 tsun below the knee crease and 1 finger's breadth lateral to the tibial crest, or the shin bone here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find our knee crease. So if I come to the outside of the knee here, and I use these 3 fingers, and I slide down here, I should slide into the knee crease. Now you can bend the knee slightly if this makes it easier, because it'll open up the joint. But I can feel the knee crease here. So this is the line we're going to be working with. The next thing I need to do is to find the 3 tsun measurement. So what we're going to do is use the same measurement that we used before to find spleen 6. You're going to use this 4-finger measurement, which is your 3 tsun mark. This is the 4 fingers of your own hand. So if we come to the knee crease here, and then you place these 4 fingers along here from the knee crease, this gives you your 3 tsun measurement. Now you're going to find the top of the tibial crest, or the shin bone, and you're going to get your index finger, and you're going to place your index finger alongside the outside of the shin bone, like so. Now this gives you your stomach 36 point right here in the corner. So you massage stomach 36 on both sides, or even better, you can add moxa. So let's talk about our next acupressure point, lung 1, or zhongfu, also known as central mansion. So if we talk about the lungs specifically and the metal element in general, the lungs are responsible for governing qi and respiration in the body. They're responsible for all physiological processes. They control the channels and blood vessels, the descending and dispersing of qi. Particularly relevant to us at the moment is that they send qi and body fluids, including wei qi, to the exterior, to the space between our muscles and skin, in order to protect us. They also regulate the water passages, which is why they have such a vital relationship with the kidneys in terms of our breathing. Kidney yang is responsible for breathing in, and the lung qi is responsible for breathing out. So if you have anything like asthma or wheezing or tightness in the chest or difficulty breathing, that can often be an imbalance between the lungs and the kidneys. So lung 1 is known as the mu point of the lung, meaning that this point has a direct action on treating the lung organ, or the lung zhang, and has an ability to bypass the lung channel in order to do so. It also has a direct connection with the spleen channel and is one of the main points on the body to tonify wei qi. Also, it is the entry point of the lung, which means that it receives qi from the liver channel, which is also instrumental in the creation and the distribution of wei qi. Let's have a look at how to find lung 1. In order to locate lung 1, Firstly, what you want to do is just raise your arm out like so. Now what you're going to do is you're going to use your index finger just to feel along the bottom edge of the clavicle until your index finger falls into a large depression, the largest depression you can find, which is just here I can feel. So with the arm held out like so, what you'll see or what you'll feel is you will feel that the muscle is slightly raised and you can feel it going in this direction here. So with your finger in this depression, what you want to do is pull your finger down to the underside of that muscle or tendon and then slightly more on the outside, and you'll feel a depression here. And it should be quite tender. So what you want to do is just massage this point in circular motions on both sides of the body for a few minutes each. So the last acupressure point we're going to discuss is colon 4 or He-gu, also known as joining valley. The colon and the lung are involved in what's known as a biao-li or yin and yang or interior-exterior relationship, and therefore they are mutually supportive of one another. So within this context, the colon has a very strong effect on yang qi and on the building of wei qi because of its relationship with the lung, and also because of its relationship with the stomach as a division called yang ming, because yang ming's function is to build qi and blood within the body. So how do we find colon 4? Well, colon 4 is located between the thumb and the index finger. So you have the first metacarpal bone here and the second metacarpal bone here. So colon 4 is located between these two bones, just distal to the base of the second metacarpal bone, which is here. So what you can do is you can find the base, which is slightly raised here, and you just fall over the edge into the fleshy part. And this is colon 4. It should be quite tender to massage. So you can massage it in circles like that, or you can grab it from both sides and massage like so. So next time we'll be discussing how to use points to reduce stress levels and anxiety levels. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to leave any comments below or get in touch via the website acupuncture-westlondon.com.